They said Chelsea were finished. They said the club was a mess. That we were a billion-pound meme wrapped in blue kits and managerial roulette wheels. But here we are, on the cusp of world domination, and if you're still doubting us now, you clearly haven't been paying attention. Chelsea Football Club, the pride of London, the bane of critics, and the chaos club with a purpose, are in the Club World Cup final, and we're coming for PSG like it's a Champions League night at the Bridge. But let's rewind, because before we talk about silencing Kylian Mbappé and sending Neymar into another sabbatical, we need to revisit how we got here, particularly the semi-final against Fluminense. That wasn't just a win, it was a statement, a declaration of intent from a team that's been mocked, underestimated, and laughed at for 18 months. And yet, here we are, with a squad brimming with talent, spirit, and, finally, identity. You see, this Chelsea side isn't built the old-fashioned way. It's not full of 30-something war horses and £150 million Galacticos. No, this is a team forged in modern football's wildest storm. A team made up of forgotten wonder kids, misunderstood talents, academy lions, and a manager who once wouldn't even be let into Stamford Bridge without a visitor's pass. And yet, together, they've crafted something beautiful, something dangerous, something inevitable. Let's start with the Fluminense game, because that's where Chelsea truly came alive. The Brazilian battle, Chelsea versus Fluminense. The pundits, as always, tried to hype it up, South American flair versus European discipline. But what happened on that pitch was something else. It was Chelsea, ruthless and relentless, tearing through Fluminense like a team with a grudge. The game kicked off, and within seconds you could sense it. Chelsea weren't here to entertain. They were here to dominate. And the engine of this juggernaut, Enzo Fernández. The Argentine midfielder played that night like he was still wearing his World Cup medal under his kit. Dictating play, winning duels, slicing open passes like he was carving steak. He didn't just control the game, he owned it. If the midfield was a battlefield, Enzo was a general, conductor, and executioner rolled into one. Beside him, Conor Gallagher ran like he'd stolen someone's car and didn't want to get caught. His energy was limitless. His tackles, timed to perfection. He was everywhere, breaking lines, pressing like a madman, and shouting instructions with the passion of a true blue. If you didn't respect Gallagher before this tournament, you probably do now, assuming you survived the tackles. Further up, Raheem Sterling rolled back the years. Against Fluminense highline, he was electric. He twisted their left back into a philosophical crisis. He didn't score, but his runs opened the pitch, stretched the lines, and caused chaos. Real chaos, the kind that gets fullback subbed off before halftime. He may not have the armband, but make no mistake, Sterling has been one of the silent leaders of this Chelsea revival. And then, Nicolas Jackson. Oh, Nicolas, a man who divided opinion more than pineapple on pizza. But that night, he looked like the ghost of Drogba in disguise. Hungry, sharp, ruthless. His first goal was a masterclass in movement, drifting between the centre-backs, controlling Enzo's through ball with the grace of a ballerina and the ruthlessness of a butcher. One touch, bang, 1-0 Chelsea. But he wasn't done. His second was even better. Reece James, fit again and looking like the world's most athletic tank, whipped in across that violated 3 Brazilian defenders. Jackson leapt, not just in height but in faith, and thundered a header into the bottom corner. It was a striker's goal. No debate, no VAR, no mercy. 2-0, and from there, Chelsea didn't step off. They strangled the game. Levi Colwill and Axel Disasi were impenetrable. Petrovic in goal, standing in for the injured Sanchez, looked like he'd been plucked from a Marvel set, fearless, agile, commanding. One save in particular, from a long-range Ganso free kick, drew gasps from both sets of fans. He didn't dive, he flew. By the final whistle, Fluminense had been outplayed, outmuscled, and outthought. Their flair drowned in Chelsea's discipline and venom. And when the camera panned to the touchline, Mauricio Pochettino, yes, that Pochettino, was standing tall, arms folded, smiling like a man who just found gold in a Spurs tracksuit pocket. The squad, a blueprint of belief. What makes this Chelsea side special isn't just talent. It's how the puzzle has finally started fitting together. In defense, Colwill is a definition of composure. At just 21, he plays like a 30-year-old veteran. Next to him, De Sesa has brought physicality and maturity. And with Reece James and Ben Chilwell back to full fitness, Chelsea's fullback play is arguably the best it's been since 2021. The midfield duo of Enzo and Caicedo, they've finally clicked. After months of media jokes about price tags and underwhelming form, the duo now look like the future of Premier League midfields. Caicedo sweeps, shields, and destroys. Enzo creates, controls, and dictates. It's beautiful to watch, a fusion of chaos and control. Up front, Sterling and Palmer have taken ownership. Cole Palmer, the ex-City boy who arrived with a point to prove, has delivered brilliance on a plate all season. Against Fluminense, he didn't score, but he created more chances and the Brazilians had passes in the final third. The kid is ice cold. He doesn't panic, doesn't fumble, and he always picks the right pass. And then there's the bench. Nkunku, still finding fitness but already flashing glimpses of magic. Mudryk, chaos incarnate, capable of terrorizing defenders and himself in the same dribble. And then there's the academy boys, Alfie Gilchrist, Broha, and even young David Washington, who bring passion and bite every time they are called upon. The squad may be young, but it's united, hungry, and most importantly, it's believing again. The intention, beating PSG, sending a message. Now, with PSG waiting in the final, the mission is clear: win it all. Not just to lift the trophy, but to announce ourselves to the world. PSG are a great team, no doubt. They've got Mbappe, who runs faster than Chelsea's wage bill in July. They've got Neymar, who can nutmeg a ghost. They've got Asensio, Kolo Muani, and a midfield that reads like a FIFA Ultimate Team wish list. But do they have heart? Because Chelsea do. Chelsea have battled injuries, media slander, form slumps, and identity crises, and still we're in the final. This team didn't cruise here. It fought here. From Brighton away in the League Cup to South American soil against Fluminense, every challenge has forged us. Pochettino, quietly, has instilled tactical discipline and belief. He's turned Jackson from a meme into a menace. He's turned Palmer from a prospect into a playmaker. He's done what few thought possible, brought clarity to chaos. And now, with one game left, Chelsea are staring down the richest project in football with nothing but pride, purpose, and blue blood running through every vein. We're not here to admire PSG. We're here to beat them, to outplay them, to humble them. The final promise. Let the Parisians bring their flash, their fireworks, and their influence of friends. Chelsea will bring grit, goal, and Gallagher. Let them dance, pose, and drop rap albums. We'll press, pass, and score. Because this isn't just about a trophy. It's about identity, redemption, a message to the world. We are Chelsea Football Club. We don't just win trophies. We take them. And on that final night in Saudi Arabia, when the lights are blinding, the cameras are rolling, and Mbappe is wondering how Gallagher beat him to every ball, the world will witness it again. Blue is not just a color. It's a warning. And if PSG have done their homework, they'll know exactly what kind of storm is coming for them. Because this Chelsea team isn't arriving in that final by accident or coincidence. This isn't a lucky run or some underdog fairy tale. No, this is a result of a rebuild that finally stopped listening to outside noise. A process. Yes, that dreaded word, but a process that's growing teeth. And now that it has, it's biting through everything in its path. What separates Chelsea from PSG isn't just geography or club history. It's the very nature of the players we've assembled. These aren't over-polished superstars waiting for their close-up. These are players who've had to fight for every minute on the pitch, earn every drop of respect, and bleed for every badge on their chest. Take Levi Colwill, for example. He's not just a good defender. He's a statement from Cobham, a product of Chelsea's own system, forged through loans and pressure and expectation. He plays with a kind of calm that terrifies strikers. Why? Because he never panics. He doesn't need to. He reads the game like it's a book he wrote himself. Then you have Wesley Fofana, rising from injury after injury, critics doubting whether he'd ever fulfill his price tag, and yet there he is, training like a gladiator, defending like a man who's had enough of being disrespected. His recovery pace? Insane. His timing in the tackle? Surgical. PSG's forward will have to get through him before they even think about scoring. And what about the captain, Reece James? A man who bleeds blue. A player who can outmuscle a bull and whip in a cross so venomous it needs a warning label. Reece is more than just a right back. He's the spirit of Stamford Bridge in football boots. Injuries tried to derail him. The media tried to forget him. But now he's back, just in time, ready to shut down anything PSG throws down that flank, Mbappe included. Even in the middle, Moises Caicedo, finally comfortable in his Chelsea skin, looks reborn. After months of adapting to the spotlight and price tag that followed him from Brighton, he's become the invisible shield, the one you don't notice until he's taken the ball from you again and again, like a thief with a PhD in anticipation. In training, he's everywhere. And against Fluminense, he made their number 10 wish he'd picked up a minor hamstring strain in warm-up. Pair him with Enzo, and you've got contrast and cohesion. Fire and ice. The runner and the ruler. Enzo sees passes others don't even think about. He doesn't need time or space. He creates it. He can slow down the match like someone's hit pause, only to switch tempo in a flash and ignite an attack. Together, they form the heartbeat of Chelsea. Together, they'll dictate whether PSG even gets to touch the ball. But midfield is only part of the story. The wings, that's where we twist the knife. Raheem Sterling, now more motivated than ever, is playing like a man on a mission. This isn't the Sterling of casual City games. This is final form Sterling, direct, dangerous, and clinical. He knows the criticism. He's read the doubt. But now, every run he makes is fueled by it. He wants that final. He wants that medal. He wants to be the man remembered for making Mbappe and Neymar spectators in their own spotlight. Then there's Cole Palmer. Cool as they come. The boy who left Manchester with a chip on his shoulder the size of the Etihad. At Chelsea, he's become something else, a surgeon in the final third. His touch is silk, his vision a weapon, and his decision-making ice cold. He's not a young talent anymore. He's the guy you give the ball to when you need something done. Against PSG, the plan is clear. Give Palmer the keys and let him create chaos. And finally, the striker, the lightning rod, the man people wrote off too early, Nicolas Jackson. Is he raw? Yes. Is he inconsistent? Sometimes. But is he afraid? Never. Jackson's strength isn't just his pace or strength or movement. It's his refusal to hide. He'll miss 2 chances and go for the third like nothing happened. He lives in the dangerous spaces, thrives under pressure, and has now found something deadlier than form, confidence. PSG's backline, especially the aging legs of Marquinhos or the overexposed Hakimi, are not ready for Jackson unleashed. And behind them all stands Petrovic, the Serbian wall. No one saw him coming. But that's exactly why he fits this team so perfectly. Overlooked, underrated, and now irreplaceable. His shot-stopping against Fluminense was elite. His command of the box? Ice cold. He doesn't just stand between the posts. He owns them. Against Mbappe and Neymar, he won't flinch. Not because he's arrogant, but because he belongs here. The final message, PSG, you're next. Every Chelsea player who steps onto that pitch against PSG will be carrying the scars of a long season. Injuries, rebuilds, mocking headlines, and transfer chaos. All of it. But in those scars lies their power. Because this Chelsea side is not polished. They are forged. In adversity. In pressure. In expectation. There's no entitlement here. No superstar attitudes. No players who think they are bigger than the club. Every man in that dressing room knows what it took to get here. And more importantly, knows what it means to wear that badge. The Club World Cup final isn't just a match. It's a mission to remind Europe. To silence the critics, to bring glory back to Stamford Bridge, not by chance, but by design. And as Chelsea walk down that tunnel to face PSG, to face the media darlings, the social media magnets, the perennial almost men, they won't walk out afraid. They'll walk out ready, because blue is not just a color. It's history, it's future, and it's coming for Paris. It's hard to explain to outsiders what this moment means, because to truly understand Chelsea, you can't just watch us. You have to feel us. You have to feel what it means to endure the mockery of pundits who never gave us a chance. You have to feel the cold midweek nights when the form was gone, the headlines brutal, and the fans still there. 40,000 voices at Stamford Bridge, singing carefree even when the table said we had no reason to. This final, this clash with PSG, isn't just a shot at a trophy. It's a culmination of months, years, of noise. The rebuild, the headlines, the what's the plan sound bites, the transfer list turned into shopping memes, the scripts written by those who never stepped foot inside SW6. And now those scripts are being torn up by the very players they tried to label as failures. What the world sees as chaos, Chelsea has turned into chemistry. Every misunderstood player on this team has something to prove, and that is what makes this squad so dangerous. Christopher Nkunku, for instance, still easing back from injury, still regaining sharpness, but on that bench sits a man whose eyes betray his intentions. Silent, but watching, calculating. If he steps on that pitch, even for 10 minutes, he'll be looking to make up for every minute he's lost. And there is nothing more lethal than a forward with unfinished business. Or Mykhailo Mudryk, a man who's been labeled everything from speed merchant to YouTube footballer. But those who train with him know he's been sharpening his game in silence, working on his touch, timing his movements, studying the defenders he used to rush into. And now he's waiting for his moment to turn chaos into brilliance. Against PSG, all it takes is one run, one broken line, one finish to erase a year of mockery. And let's not forget the bridge between generations. Thiago Silva, the veteran, the mentor, the wall who once wore the PSG badge and now wears Chelsea blue with a quiet vengeance. He may not start, but his presence in the dressing room, monumental. He's the one the younger players look to. He's the one whose voice carries weight without needing volume. He doesn't need to remind anyone what it means to face Paris. His eyes say enough. This Chelsea team, so often criticized for being too young, too raw, too experimental, is now the perfect storm. A blend of hungry youth and hardened wisdom, of talent forged through trial, of players who've earned every yard of this journey. And behind them, the fans, the beating heart, the away support traveling thousands of miles to see their club rise on the world stage. No neutral fans here. No casuals. Just a sea of blue, shirts old and new, scars fresh and faded, all united in one mission. They'll be there hours before kickoff, singing, chanting, shouting until their voices crack. Because for Chelsea supporters, this isn't just about lifting a trophy. It's about lifting a legacy back into the light. And inside that dressing room, as kickoff draws near, you can feel it. Not nerves, not fear, but purpose. No loud speeches, no artificial motivation, just a quiet buzz, a mutual understanding between every player pulling on the kit. We've come too far to leave empty-handed. Mauricio Pochettino, standing at the center, doesn't need to scream. His eyes do the talking. He's waited too long for this kind of night, and he knows this squad, this club, is ready to deliver. No one gives him a speech about pressure. No one says, play like it's just another game. Because it isn't. This is the kind of match you remember for the rest of your life. This is the kind of match where legacies are born and myths are written. And when they line up in the tunnel, shoulder to shoulder with PSG, the so-called kings of hype, the architect of expectation, Chelsea will not blink. Because blue is not just a color. It's a challenge, a threat, a promise. We didn't come here to be tourists. We came to take everything. So here we are, one match away from immortality. 90 minutes from writing a new chapter in Chelsea's legacy, not with superstar spoon-fed success, but with warriors forged in doubt and determination. This isn't just about football. It's about pride. It's about proving that the rebuild wasn't a joke, that the project was never chaos. It was a vision misunderstood by those too busy laughing to look closer. And now, under the lights, on the biggest stage in club football, Chelsea stand ready. Not just to compete, not just to survive, but to conquer. So let PSG bring their flair. Let them flash their headlines, their Instagram posts, their highlight reels. Chelsea will bring something far more terrifying. Belief. Belief in youth. Belief in the badge. Belief in each other. Because when that whistle blows, Chelsea won't just be playing for a trophy. They'll be playing for every fan who stood by through the injuries, the rebuilds, the bad headlines, and the noise. For every critic who said we had no identity, this is our answer. For every doubter who said we'd crumble, watch us rise. Because blue is not just a color. It's a final. It's a roar. It's a revolution. And come that final whistle, PSG will know exactly what it means. Up the Chelsea. Always.